Good evening. It's 6:25, May 15th, 2019. Dudley Conservation Meeting will come to order. Commissioners present.
Nancy Vukovic.
Fran Mikulajczyk.
George Slungo.
James Kepke.
Okay, first on the agenda is 32 West Dudley Road, request for amended order of conditions. I'll open the hearing at 6:26.
Thank you.
Jason Dubois from DC Engineering and Survey. Here for 32 West Dudley Road. So we had a order of conditions issued for this site last year for a septic system replacement. Since then, there was a fire at the house, and the house is proposed to be demolished and rebuilt. You can see on the plan, the dark line, where the house is shown. The existing house is basically in the same footprint. The house does slide a few feet closer into the buffer zone. It's maybe 60 feet or so to the closest edge to the wetland, and that's mostly due to the zoning setbacks on that side that we're pushing the house a little bit further away. There is also a driveway located on that side, so it's we're not really changing anything on the site. It's just rebuilding the house basically in the same footprint. So we're just requesting to amend the current order conditions that's on the site right now.
Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Are there any abutters? Hearing none. I will close
6:27.
I will close the public hearing at 6:27.
Based upon Matt's recommendation, I make a motion that we approve the amended order of conditions for the addition.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the amended order conditions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
You're all set? Yeah, okay. All right.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, next on the is 74 Flaxfield Road. Notice of intent to remove less than 50 immature dead trees to create a
So
bath.
150.
150 trees?
That should be the version that went through.
Excuse me?
150, up to 150 is the version that was filed.
Oh, on paperwork. 150?
That should be the version that I brought up.
That was in the notification to abutters. 150 was in the notification to abutters.
Okay,
Just a typo on here.
okay. All right, I'll open the public hearing at
6:29.
6:29.
Sorry, this is my first time. What am I supposed to, do I just give a brief of the project that we're trying to do? Okay. I'm Michelle Hayes, this is my husband Tom. We are at 74 Flaxfield, and we have filed a notice of intent for 3 objectives for our property within the wetlands area. One is to remove up to 150 dead immature trees. We have some hazard trees hanging over the water as well, but mostly it's a high density of dead pine trees that we have along the southernmost part of our property. The northern part of our property that goes up to the corner of the pond is a lot of small immature trees that are getting destroyed every time there's a storm. Most of them are hanging over sideways. The second objective is my mom lives with us, and she has mobility issues. We're looking to build an ADA accessible path Right now, the grading on our land is very steep. Matthew's come out, the wetlands consultant has come out. He's also an ADA consultant and is supposed to be drawing us up a plan on getting an ADA path to more safely get down to the water. The third, once we are able to remove the dead trees, we are looking to replant and are looking for Matt to provide recommendations on what trees we can put in place of where the dead pines are right now.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Sounds reasonable.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear?
I said it sounds reasonable.
Any abutters?
What about the trees that have been cut already? We're mostly just concerned about erosion, living on the same.
Can you
very steep slope.
state your name?
So I'm Nicole Kucherov.
I'm Nicole Proto.
We're the abutters. We're just concerned about the slope eroding into the pond, any issues that might happen. Also, our houses being on the same slope, from the removal of the trees that have already been removed, plus the ones that are going to be removed. So I was just wondering if you could talk about, in terms of the trees that they have removed, which I'm not sure how many there were, but quite a large amount.
How many trees were removed?
Within that area, they were all dead, whatever was there. When we first moved in last year, we were unaware of the wetlands restrictions on the rules, but the trees are all dead. The roots just pop right out of the ground. In terms of erosion control, if there's something we need to do for erosion, we're happy to comply with whatever is the recommendation. Matt didn't seem to, he's been out to the property multiple times, has done multiple walkthroughs, and has never mentioned any concern. It's my understanding that taking stumps out of the ground is a issue, which we're not looking to take the stumps out or do any modifications to the soil that is there. It's simply to take the trees out. So if there's erosion problems, tell me what we need to do, and we're happy to do that, but I don't believe it's a valid concern based on my information with Matt. Is he here?
No.
No.
We have a recommendation.
What about the erosion control? Can we make them put hay bales or,
Definitely.
Hay bales, silk fence, or wattle?
To waddle out.
wattles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then if she's gonna replant,
Yep.
it should eventually, with some trees that are gonna be better than dead ones.
You're saying replant?
She said replant. She's gonna,
Yeah,
she's
we're
gonna
certainly-
work with Matt
our-
to decide, to get a handle
Okay.
on what they can,
All right.
what's the best trees to replant.
Yeah, we're looking for whatever's indigenous to the area. I don't know, so I'm willing to follow any recommendations that you guys have of what we should replant there, but right now it's nothing but dead pine trees. That's an absolute fire hazard with the people that we have across the lake from us that shoot off fireworks regularly. I have dead pine needles, dead pine trees. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about, she has her hand up.
So they did trim the bottoms of the dead pine trees, and quite a lot of the trees that they've cut down previously were not dead in the past year and a half that they've been cutting down trees after I explained to them they couldn't cut down trees. And I'm just concerned as to, I think there are enough trees there, but I'm just concerned that if we aren't aware of what's already been cut, including what is going to be cut.
You were issued a cease and desist, weren't you?
I was not. George came to our house, and I walked him around out back, showed him what we were doing. At the time, he said he didn't have any issues with what we were doing. We just needed to be able to get a permit.
Who was that, Matt?
No,
Me.
George.
George,
George.
yeah. So
Because
we've
at
had,
that time, you said you wasn't gonna cut down any more trees.
and
you
we
said-
have not cut down any more trees within the wetlands area. Any of the work that we've done has been above 100 feet from the water, the remaining work that we've done, which should not, on my understanding, be up for debate in this. Our neighbors have been hostile to us towards the one that a butter that is discussing right now, has accused us of cutting trees down on our property, which is absolutely false. She's accused,
They did not have a survey
I'm
when
sorry.
they were cutting this.
Can
So
I-
didn't accuse you. I said, you don't know where my property is.
so she's threatened to report us to the EPA. We had to get a boundary survey to make sure that we're clearly delineated lines of where our property is. She's continued to question whether or not we had a professional surveyor out. I'm not sure what unprofessional surveyors look like, but we paid thousands of dollars to make sure we had clearly defined boundary lines, and this is the type of behavior that we continue to get from our neighbors. What we're doing is requesting to take down dead trees that has absolutely no impact to their land. Just,
Yes?
So they began cutting, the first time I met these new neighbors, began cutting trees at the water on the property line. That is where they began cutting trees, last May, when they moved in. That was my first interaction with them. I mentioned
This is
that the
conservation.
Conservation Board.
You coming in for conservation?
Yes, I wanted to.
Are you open session, George?
Yes.
We are.
You are? Sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Carry on.
So at the time, I mentioned, as a nice neighbor, the Conservation Board does not allow this and that they can be fined because someone else on our pound was fined $10,000 last year. So they were like, no problem. They continued cutting along our property line, which was designated at that point by, they had been told there was a wood pile. So they determined, here's the wood pile, we can cut anywhere around it. I said, look, your property, not a problem. I didn't call, I didn't do anything because I was trying to be a nice neighbor. They continued cutting towards my property. And I went over and I asked, if you're going to cut on the property line, according to the maps that I have and the map that you have, and we bought the house, please get a survey.
that's just factually not true. We were cutting down trees that are in the middle of our backyard. We hired a professional because we had trees hanging over our house at a 45-degree angle. This is all well above the not restricted area for the wetlands. She comes over knocking on the house and is talking about the diagonal property line when we are nowhere, we're like literally in the middle of our house and these trees are not falling anywhere near the property line. They then come out with their paper survey and start walking around, and this is when the hostilities have continued to increase with us. So we got the survey because we all need to clearly understand where the delineated lines are. We have ceased to touch anything after George's visit to our house within that area. You recommended that we get the permit if we wanted to do any work down there, and we've been working with Carol and Matt since February to get the permit submitted. I'm more interested to hear what the wetlands consultant has to say, and like I said, if there's pieces of erosion control we need to do, absolutely. I just don't feel like their concerns are founded based on legitimate concerns outside of the fact that they very much want a wall of privacy between our house and their house, which has been her major objection since we started.
I would like to be confirmed as non-hostile because when I first talked to him, it was from my property at my shed by the water. The trees that they began cutting are right behind my shed on our property.
They're not on your property.
At the water, on our property line. I would like to invite someone to come out and look at the property line if you would like to. I will happily, because they have delineated property line, which by the way, we offered to pay half of the survey and they ceased speaking to us. They didn't answer their door, and so hostile neighbors, I don't know. I mean, maybe the ones who stopped answering their doorbells.
All right, that's,
But I just, literally, my only concern is erosion, and that's it.
It's all Matt's morning.
can we follow, can you have Matt call me and I will meet him out there?
Okay.
So what were you cutting last week?
We weren't cutting anything last week. We were trimming branches off. Are you talking about when we were pruning some existing trees?
What's that?
We were pruning some existing trees, cutting off the lower branches to see if we were able to salvage any of the
No,
pine.
This was last week by the water up maybe 20 feet.
There was nothing that we took down.
I could see it from my yard.
So we have an extender to cut down branches. It goes about 16 feet high. It's a small steel extension that has a little chainsaw attachment. So what I was doing last week was I was trying to prune up the branches, trying to basically, again, seeing what can be salvaged and what can't. So some of these pine trees are not indigenous. They were put there by the telephone company or electric company. So one of my thoughts there were to try to cut down some of these dead branches and see exactly how far up these trees look.
My understanding is that it was allowable to maintain existing, including pruning and maintenance on trees. We did not cut anything new down that was within the 100 area. I've been working on branch cleanup because there's years worth of tree maintenance that wasn't done, branches everywhere on the ground, stuff that I was relocating. I can show you the bruises all over my body and the tick bites I have from that work, but there's absolutely, I'm not sure what you saw, and if you have pictures, please show them to us and we can explain what you think you saw. But we did not cut anything new down there outside of pruning branches. We're well aware after George came of what the lines are. We got out our 100-foot tape measure, marked it all. I have different colored tags around the flags that Matt, take a look at the existing trees. Orange means it's within the 100-foot zone. Pink is above the 100-foot, and if it's pink, then we have been continuing to work on those trees closer to the house.
Are there any other questions?
Make a motion, we continue the public hearing until after you speak with Matt.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
So is his recommendations not in the original
said-
submission?
No, I just said make a recommendation that we continue the public hearing until after Matt and George have had a chance to get together, and then we'll continue this.
Okay, so then that means, so we'll arrange a time for you guys to come out, and then what happens? Like, we come back in the next meeting? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be June 5th.
Okay. Anything else you need from us? You guys were mentioning stuff about erosion. You'll make a recommendation after you talk to Matt?
Yep.
Okay.
Seeing I was the original person out there.
Yeah.
go
Yeah, I'm
around.
happy to have you come out.
Please.
We have nothing to hide.
Need to vote the motion?
Yes.
Okay,
Frank.
motion's been made and seconded to continue the meeting to June 5th.
Yes.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do you need any of the abutting documentation, the certified letters?
Yes.
Any of that? Okay, I just give that to you?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you want me to do that now, or?
Yep,
Okay.
that'd be fine.
Okay, next is Amarillo CR land off Blue Herring Drive, RDA for loop trail conservation, conversion to railroad bridge, of railroad bridge to pedestrian footbridge. This is a refiling for previously approved but expired determination of applicability.
Jim.
How you doing, Mr.
No,
Walker?
sign that. Don't sign that.
Basically, what I have
Don't
is
sign
Don't
that.
sign that.
That's the
the
Blacksfield?
previous
He gave it.
permit only
Don't.
for one bridge.
It's Blacksfield, don't sign
We
it.
were going to do two bridges and two cattle underpasses. The bridges go over water, the cattle underpasses do not. And we're staying within the rail bed itself. There's no vegetation taken, and there is no involvement with the water. The one bridge over the French River
Ken,
is 105 foot.
could you speak into the microphone just for the
Oh,
video?
I can't carry? I'm sorry.
Well, it's for the video.
Oh,
It's not for
okay,
in
I'm
here.
sorry. I apologize. The bridge over the French River is 105 feet long and is going to be built in modular form in 12-foot sections. And so we won't be doing any work over the bridge itself, except putting up the guardrails and fencing. The structure itself will be built off-site. The second bridge is the small bridge off of Blue Herring Road. We put up a temporary bridge about 5 years ago. And now it's take that temporary bridge down and put up a more permanent structure, which will have guardrails and curbing on it also. I have drawings here for you to take a look at. And I'm sorry I don't have the presentation. Tight budget. This is the small bridge over the Blue Herring Road Bridge.
Yep.
It's 12 foot. And that'll again be built in one piece and dropped in place. The second bridge is 105 feet long.
How wide is that?
It'll be 12 feet wide. We're reducing the size, no vehicle traffic. We're reducing the size down to 7 feet, which will accommodate the fire department's emergency vehicle, which is for forest fire and extraction if necessary. So it's
gonna be 7 feet
made
wide.
out of, this is funny, I'm talking to a builder. The bridge decking is, instead of calling it 8x6, it's going to be a 6x8 because the thickness of the boards are 6 inches and the width is 8 inches. So if I said 6x8, they put the boards on reverse. So I use the analogy of a 2x4.
Sleeper or stand-up.
The curving is 6x6, and there's an under support. It's also a 6x6. So, and it's all southern yellow pine for density, structural grade. And the last drawing is the railing itself, which we changed slightly. From this drawing, we're going to use galvanized, and we're using the same post that they use on a highway for the guardrails.
Okay.
So, and the fencing is also galvanized with a top coat on it. And it's 10.5 gauge, so it's about 135 thousandths diameter. So it's kind of hefty. So we won't have any good old time to fall off of it. Maybe climb it, but not fall off it.
All right.
And that's it. The
Any-
two cattle underpasses, that, again, it's going to be the same structure, except they're only about 9 to 10 feet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board? Are there any abutters? All right.
I make a motion that we issue a negative determination of applicability for the Amarillo CR land off Blue Heron Drive for creation of a loop trail, conversion of an old railroad bridge to a multi-purpose pedestrian footbridge, and
Thank-
other,
Well, two bridges.
2 bridges and 2 cattle underpasses.
Yep.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, next is 61 Airport Road, Legacy Landing, notice of intent for a subdivision. I'll open the public hearing at,
Oh, I'm sorry. 6:49.
6:49.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bob Ruda. My brother Jim and I are the Legacy Landing owners. And that's the field behind where I live on Airport Road. It's about 11 and a half acres. Jim came up with the name because we got the property from our parents, and across the street we have an airport where we've had planes landing since I've been a kid. And every now and then they're still there. So,
still land over there?
Excuse me?
They land over there still?
Yeah, well, now it's ultralights. It's kind of neat, actually. And they have a lot of model planes that are quite large, 6 feet windspans. And so we feel it's a pretty appropriate name, and that's how we got Legacy Landing, and we thought it sounded pretty nice as well. Anyway, we're trying to get a plan approved, and this hopefully would be one of the last steps for a 55-plus community to go there. That would be a total of 22 units, 10 buildings, 8 of which would be duplexes, 2 of which would be triplexes. Be a private road going from Airport Road to Dudley Hill Road. We want to live there, or I want to live there. We feel that, it's a nice use for the town, it'll be a good use for the land, and it doesn't, put more stress on the school system, and hopefully not too much stress on water and sewer, because it'll be mostly retired people like me, and that's the project. So to get it all designed, we hired WDA Design from Westboro, and I'm happy to say we have Patrick Burke here, who's the project engineer.
Patrick Burke from WDA Design Group, today representing the proponent. Where the property is a number of lots in between off of Airport Road and Dudley Hill Road. Existing to the east, there are the resource areas. There's a wetland delineated in the field last summer. The east portion of the site and on the west site, there's a smaller area on site here. Right now it's 4 parcels that will be combined into a single parcel in the end. There's an existing dwelling here, and an existing garage is going to be demolished. The existing dwelling will be remain, and that will be cut out of the parcel. And existing dwelling over off of Dudley Hill Road too that's already cut out of the parcel.
Patrick, could you
Yes.
use the microphone just for the video portion, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Grab that one. Yeah.
I guess they sat. The combined parcels are about 12.5 acres. We have been to the planning board. We've got a special permit for an open space development. It's over 55. Part of the conditions of that is a minimum of 40% of the site will remain open space in the areas of the site, which also would, the way we laid it out, it'll be around the buffer zone to the wetland area, and there'll be a trail system that's running through there too. So this is the general layout of the roads. We got a road coming through the site that connects Dudley Hill Road and Airport Road. With the open space, it's going to remain private, so we didn't have to build such a substantial road as you would if you were going to turn it over to the town. So we made the road a little bit skinnier, so there's less impervious areas. The houses are also grouped a little bit closer together in the condominium layout to keep it further away from the resource areas. Stormwater management for the site, we considered catch basins, but we went with a more low-impact development type design. So there's going to be curb returns coming to on the bottom of the plan. There's a detention pond to the right. So there's going to be water quality swales leading into that with a couple of rain gardens also incorporated into the site. Up to the left of the site where the 3 homes there's a subsurface basin there with a stone trench as a pretreatment before that. Along the site. We will be connecting into, there won't be septic systems on the site. We'll be able to tie into Dudley Hill Road's sewer system and get town water too. We'll be looping the water through the site, and heating will be through gas. There are no, outside of the bordering vegetated wetlands to the east and the west, there's no natural heritage issues with species or habitat or vernal pools on the site. And that's pretty much the issues to address, if you have any questions.
So stormwater management has been met?
Yes, we meet the 10 standards of stormwater management with water quality and infiltration and the pre and post conditions. Generally the site, there's a ridge in the site, so natural drainage would go to the left and to the right. So we broke it up at about the same watersheds, and the pre and post meets the net peak discharge at the design points.
So the planning board has already approved this?
Yes, we've got a special permit through the planning board for the preliminary subdivision layout. And this is, just so the abutters know, this is the same exact layout. We just developed it a little bit further with infrastructure as was approved by the planning board.
All right. Any questions for the board?
Abutters?
Hear from the butters.
Are there any abutters?
I'm sorry, I apologize, Peter, I didn't quite hear all of your presentation. Richard Clark, I live at 65 Airport Road. What has changed here? It sounded like something was at variance with what I recall being presented to the planning board, but I'm not quite sure of the detail. I wonder if you could elaborate on that.
When we were in front of the planning board, we've added the preliminary hearing with the planning board was pretty much a schematic design to obtain the special permit. Now we've gone further into the design of the drainage. We had to prove that the actual layout that we had for the detention basin and the...
Where is the retention basin?
That green.
This area is an open detention basin, and then there's a smaller subsurface detention basin that takes this little area of the roadway in the back here.
All right, and the entrance at the top is the Airport Road entrance?
Airport Road comes down.
Okay. I'm trying to get a thought in
that-
terms of where I am.
You're taking down the garages for the road, right?
The garage.
The barn?
Right here. Yeah, the barn above. Yep, the
Yes.
barn is right here.
Yeah, okay, so I'm over here. I'm on this side of this. All right, so there's vegetation. I know we walked the property, and with one of your colleagues, I believe,
Yes.
the indication was that they were going to put in some sort of vegetation. I assume that plan is still in effect?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other abutters?
As I understand it, you don't have a DEP number yet?
As of this afternoon, we did not. They are trying to get it to us. We may have one, but I don't know if we have one yet. As of 4:30, we did not. We had requested it.
Okay.
And
We can't close this public hearing.
We wouldn't ask you to.
So we have to keep it open
Mhm.
till the June 5th.
so I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 61 Airport Road, Legacy Landing, to June 5th to receive the DEP file number and Matt Morrow's recommendation to us.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and second to continue the hearing to June 5th.
Unanimous.
All those?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks for your time.
So that's the airfield? Or is that towards the Nichols side? That's towards the back by Nichols, isn't it? Because Ruta land is, I said, that's like abutting the Nichols property?
Nichols is a little bit down the road.
Further down, yeah, right.
It's nearby.
So it's like, it's behind your house on Airport Road, basically?
Yes,
The old farm, oh, yeah, the old dairy.
it's right behind where Bruder's Dairy was, that's
Yeah.
where I live.
That's what I thought, okay.
It's currently a hayfield that Victor takes care of for us.
Okay, Okay, next is 92 Old Southbridge Road, request for certificate of compliance.
Two others here. What's happening with this one?
Do I have that?
Yeah,
The
just skip-
AMRAD, they're not here, so it doesn't even have to be continued. We'll just bring it up as a new business next meeting.
Next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, what about Lions Road?
They're not ready yet. They're finishing they have engineering changes to make.
So we don't have to do anything today?
No,
Okay,
they're not here either.
okay. So we don't have to make any motions or anything
No,
on either one of those?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you go to 92.
It's the first time we've had a two-page agenda.
I know, like what?
Okay, did I miss anything?
You know, 92 Old Southbridge Road. The
It's on the back
certificate.
page.
It's on the
Okay,
back.
flip it over.
Flip it over. She did it two-sided on us this time.
Yes. Could have saved trees.
Tricking us.
I
Okay.
do.
92 Old Southbridge Road, request for certificate of compliance. Matt's recommendation is to issue a certificate of compliance.
I make a motion, we do so?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the certificate of compliance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So I thought tonight was gonna be the Lions Road, the subdivision, is it in Matt Hayes or Haynes or, I could get a notice and I called and they said tonight they'd be talking about that.
But,
so-
yeah, we got a call that their engineers aren't ready with the design changes yet.
So I'll get another letter in the mailbox when
No.
they're
No.
rolling again?
No,
It'll be continued to
it's
June.
continued to June 5th.
June 5th.
Right. So if you want to come back then.
Sorry.
No, I like learning about all kinds of things. I grew up on Dudley Hill Road, so it's kind of interesting.
You're on top of things.
Right.
Thank you for coming and being involved.
Yes.
I
So,
have conservation in my heart.
So I-
Just since I was a little girl.
So come and join us.
You know, when you said that, my ears kind of perked up, and I'm actually, I might think about something.
Because we meet every 3 weeks.
Every 3
And
weeks.
and this is a long meeting. This is a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
long one compared to what we
Well,
normally
I
have.
cleared the
Usually-
room, I don't know,
Usually 15 minutes.
15
Yeah.
minutes.
If
yeah.
At the
that,
most.
if
I'm just
that.
curious about, what was gonna happen with the, I'm on Eisenhower, with the far side of it,
Yeah.
they abut the driving range.
Yeah.
And
They
there's
don't
all
know
kinds
yet
of-
either, so.
What's that?
I said, it sounds like they don't know yet either.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them here in solar farms, and I just kind of wanted to get an
Yeah.
idea of what was happening and keep myself involved. I remember you, when Jimmy Kepke is and your sister, okay, like, middle, we're about the same age. I remember, like, I think I was on your bus or something, I don't know, on Dudley Hill Road, I don't know.
What was your name?
I was Kelly Young, so
Okay.
I grew up, 57 Dudley Hill Road. We sold it when my dad
I still
passed.
operate the farm in Dudley, so still
Do
there.
you really?
I am.
Yeah, because I go by Kepke Road, right?
That's-
Still-
Yeah.
and I saw
Where I
Ann,
am.
I saw Ann at a restaurant maybe a month ago.
Nobody ever sees me except when I come out to here.
When I saw you, I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember, you were tall then, but I mean, I was never more than 5 feet
You
tall.
never see my kids then.
Tall,
I'm
yeah.
short in my house.
Come on, really?
Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, I'm Mr. Vice Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the minutes
Thank you
from
for your
April
time. I'll
3rd.
see you again on the 5th.
okay, motion's been made to approve the minutes for April 3rd.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 3rd, 2019. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 7:04.
Before we do
Oh.
that, we have to officially open the Lions Road notice of intent, so we can continue it.
Okay, because of the butter being here.
So
Right.
7:05.
Okay, public hearing open at 7:05.
And so then I would make a motion that we continue the public hearing for Lions Road to June 5th.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the Lions Road notice of intent for a subdivision to June 5th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Opposed.
And
I'm sorry, Carol, it was 7:04, not
7:04.
7:05. It's now 7:04, I make a motion, we adjourn.
nope, Gotta do
No.
Fish Road too.
We're all over this thing today. You
Where's
guys
Fish
got me
Road?
Lost.
Show following it, yeah.
Oh, we gotta do that one too?
Well, the public notice wasn't a 5 business day notification, was only 4. So technically, they can't have a public hearing.
Okay, all right. No problem.
Good job, Carol.
Thank you.
Now,
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:05.
do I have a second?
Oh, now I have to change it.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.